Welcome to the Game Garage. This is the first episode, and we have no idea what we're doing.
Moonrakers is kind of a cooperative game that you've got to negotiate. You've got to build a deck builder game that eventually you're going to kind of go it on your own, and you're going to try to win the whole thing. Right up here we have your ship people, all the people that are in your ship. You got your money right here, some nice metal coins for you. Got your ship parts right there.
The basic gameplay is usually to take your cards right here. You're gonna have a bunch of different symbols on here that correlate to all of these different objectives. So these are the main objectives. When you take one of these cards, you're trying to accomplish it, and if you do accomplish it, then you get to move forward on the victory track. The reality is you can't do most of these at the beginning on your own. You need help, and that's where the real fun of the game, the real meat of the game comes, is when you have to negotiate with the people at the table to try to get people with you, to join you in your attempts to accomplish these different objectives. You accomplish objectives by playing cards from your hands. You can also buy some of these people which go into your hand, and they will help you complete some of these objectives.
The ship parts then make it into your ship. You can have a total of 4 different ship parts. You can trade them out later if you want to for a small price. And 10 prestige, that's what you're after, is the 10 prestige. And they've got a good tiebreaker system there that basically counts all the money if you have it. You do get a couple of objective cards, and you start off with 3, you pick 2. These actually play pretty heavily into the game. You've got to rest to get more of them, and they really are kind of an important part to the end play.
And some of these are really simple, some of these are really difficult. You get to choose at the beginning which ones you go into the round with, and along the way there are ways to gain more of these secret objectives. And really, they are the difference between winning and losing, because what happens is everyone ends up getting all these victory points all the way to the point where we're all just 1 victory point away from winning. And all you need to do is accomplish one of these by yourself, or finish one of your objectives before somebody else does. And that's kind of how you win, is that final push to the end.
Okay, so that's the basic game. We've not gone over all the details of how to play, but whether or not you want to buy this game, borrow it, or it's just a big bust, let us share just 3 or 4 of our things that we either really like or really don't like about this game. So
right off the bat, best part of the game, and it's really what it does best. It's what it's trying to do best, I think, and it's negotiation. The whole game centers around how do you work with the people around you, and there's a lot of cooperative. I mean, the whole beginning of the game, you are just trying to cooperate with each other. But the beauty of the negotiation is it's not just negotiate who goes on each mission. It's not just negotiate what happens on that mission. No, the real fun to me of the negotiation is who gets the rewards. In the top right of every one of these objective cards, there is a little reward. The top is just victory points. The next one is money. This stuff you use to buy a better engine. And then one of my favorite things is there's some of these that are just cards. You just pick a random card from either the ship part or the deck. You don't have to pay any of the price. You just get it for free. I love that mechanic because you can fill out that engine really quick, and that becomes a hot kind of topic amongst the negotiation of who gets what.
And you're also negotiating these damage dice. So each one of those represents a dice, and some people will take all 3. So like this is 2 dice and that's 3 dice, and so you're negotiating all those things all at once.
It's fantastic. The negotiation on who gets what. Sometimes some person is just after 1 coin, and so they're willing to jump in and say, I'll go in for 1 coin. Other times, you're looking at the board and you know that person's after that last victory point, or even a couple victory points, and so you're kind of pushing people out of different rewards. And at some point, if you can't agree on who gets what, you can't go on the mission, and you have to pick a different one. And that's just a lot of fun. It makes negotiation a lot of fun.
I like on this one that on the negotiation, they let the mission leader, so it's his turn, So if it's his turn, he gets to say, he kind of starts out, who's willing, what will somebody do for me? Or he'll say, here's what I want. Who wants jump in? Or I want to get everybody in on this one that we're about to do. And so there's somebody that kind of leads the negotiation, and he's kind of the yes or no, we're not going to do that. And there's a way to, it just didn't work. We blew it all up, and we're going to try to negotiate another one. And eventually, you just got to go out on your own if you can't negotiate something. That's a big one right there. One of the things I like about this game is it is a quick engine. You have an engine built in your deck really fast. So you get these 10 cards. There's only one of them that's not worth it anything, your miss card. Although if you get some of these cards that actually make a miss worth something, that's really helpful. But you get your first 5 cards. The rest of them all go in the discard pile. And it feels like you're moving right away. Like some games that are engine builders, I spend the entire game trying to get my engine built all of a sudden, and then there's like 5 minutes left of the game, and boom, we're done.
I was amazed that when we started this game, like right out of the gate, my first round, I pick an objective, and you kind of expect an engine builder. You're going to be here doing like, I played 1 card.
Yeah.
Whoopee, great for me. No, like first round, I was like, I'm playing these 2, which allows me to play these 3, which then allows me to do that. Before you know it, I had like gone through almost my entire deck that you start with, your 8 or 10 cards that you start with, and in one round just played them all right out of the gate. That was satisfying. I mean, from the beginning, the engine is just satisfying.
And then it just keeps on building. That engine just gets better and better. So instead of, it feels like you've got a good engine to start with, and then it's just put on turbocharge everything that you add to it.
And on top of that, and this is one of the things that I really like about games. I like when you can break things. I like when it's just, some of these modifiers are just stupendous. They're ridiculous. Like, you shouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah.
But they allow you to do it. And you have to, you're like rereading it, like, wait a minute.
You're like looking at the card, you're like, they made a card like that? You gotta be kidding. That's a really good card.
I feel like sometimes when you get a game like this where you're adding to your engine, you're like, oh, I get +1 attack. Oh, joy. Like, it's just 1, but no, sometimes you're like, oh, you add 3 plus this plus that, and before you know it, you have this ridiculous engine, and you just have to figure out, where am I going to leverage that engine? And you become known at the table as, oh, you're the guy that can do damage. We need him. Like, so some of these, the orange represents damage. You want to bring that guy along because he's going to do some serious work for you, and that's just a lot of fun.
Another thing that I like about it, and we've mentioned it a little bit, each one of these, the people that are on your crew, each one of these cards is different. So there are no 2 cards that are the same. Every one of them is different. I love that about the game. Over here, they're going to show you the different ship parts that you want. Sometimes based on your objective, you're after certain ship parts. But it really is, the cards are unique, and I like the way that they are accessible. Like I can buy them fairly quickly. That some of them, like a really expensive card is 6 coins. A lot of them at that 3 points. So you can buy as much as you choose to. You really do feel like you can get into cards. You're not waiting forever to get that card.
Yeah, I just never, not never. A lot of times I have a hard time with a game if it's a slog to get to the fun part. And this game does not hold back the fun. You start playing, for me, I loved it. Just right out of the gate, I'm already having an enjoyable time playing my cards. And it's also not one of those games where it's just fun at the beginning and then you're just doing the same thing over and over, because these modifiers are so out there. And because the negotiation, on top of the engine, you're still negotiating. You may have the best engine at the table. Chances are you're not going on any missions with anybody because you're too powerful. And so that dynamic of fun engine, but I got to negotiate, but I can't be too powerful, it's what makes a negotiation game fun, and it's what makes this game just stand out above the rest.
What else do you like?
Man, close to the end. You start playing, and you're maybe getting 1 or 2 victory points, and there's a certain point where everyone's kind of like this, and what happens is it's a little bit self-leveling because the guy in the back ends up going on the most of the missions, because you're not worried about it.
Yeah, he can't hurt you.
Sure, you can have some victory points. As long as I get more, that's totally fine. But at some point, you find yourself in this situation. Every time I've played, I've only played twice, but you've kind of had the same experience.
Yep.
You almost all 4 or 5, however many people are playing, you end up at this spot where you're neck and neck. And it's one objective card completed, and that person wins. And you'll have rounds of everyone just attempting these cards solo without not negotiating anything. You're just like, no, I think I can do this on my own, and you don't know if you're going to make it. And it's the drama of, you got to roll some dice to see Am I going to take some damage, and can I respond to that damage with my deck? And you'll sometimes have a whole round of everybody failing, and all it takes is one person to roll right or do the right thing, and they'll win the game. And that's a really fun dynamic.
Yeah, it's really odd because from prestige point 0 till about 6 or 7, this game plays as a cooperative. Hey, let's go together, let's do things. But at a certain point, you know, a guy has enough prestige that he's going to go by himself. He's just going to take one of these cards, and he's now started to build his engine to the point he says, I think I can win this on my own. I can do that whole card by myself. And with a subjective point that I've got right over here, I'm at 7. If I can find one of these cards that just gives me 2 prestige point plus that, I make it to 10, I win. So it feels like 2 different games. Cooperative at the beginning, and then that press your luck, go for it, go for broke. Like, it's not going to make it around the table again. I might as well try. And even if it's a Hail Mary, it's fun to throw a Hail Mary because you can. You have the engine that if everything works out right, then you've got a shot at it. And I've seen this happen where I'm like, there's no way it's coming back to me. I'm trying this. I failed. I was 1 card short. Rats. Okay, game over. And I'm ready to pack up my cards, and then every guy tries. Miss, miss, miss. And it comes back around to me. I'm like, whoa, no way. I didn't expect that at all. So that tight, close, press your luck end, I love that.
This game, one of my favorite things about a game is when it kind of gets your heart rate going, and you're like, you just feel like I need 1 turn and I can win. And there's that kind of, it's almost stressful where you're like, I just don't know if I can pull this out. And this game does it every time to me, where I'm just stressed in a really good way, where I'm just excited to see, can I make it? And the press your luck is done so well. It's not unfair. The minimal dice rolling you do it's good. It's really simple. You either take a damage, take 2, take nothing. There's 3 kind of results, and you just have more or less of those that you're rolling, and you can respond to those with shield cards. And most of the time, you don't worry about the dice. You're mitigating them. But at some point, it'll come into play, and it'll hit you hard, and it's really fun. It gets me excited to play the next mission because I just don't know what's going to happen.
There's one little thing about this game that I kind of like is that they have a rest period where you don't go out and run something. You get coin if you rest, and you get to get rid of a card if you rest. But then you get 2 objective cards, and you get to pick 1. This is a really nice, that rest function, the more I've played it, the more I realize I've got to rest a couple times during this game, but I never want to. I want to keep on playing, but I need to rest. The rest is rewarded so much that you realize I've got to do this.
And you feel like you're going to be behind. Like you just see everybody doing all these things, and you're going, I can't, like, doing nothing, man, that's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But what happens is if you rest, it almost makes everybody at the table feel like they can rest. Yeah. And everyone forgets about that rule, and so once they see you do it, it becomes this big, everyone kind of prepping for the next push at trying to get to the victory points.
Yeah. For me, if there's a con in this game, a negative here, it's that if you've got one person at the table who doesn't play their part well, they kind of they're either trying to help somebody or they're trying to demolish one other person at the table. That's not very much fun. Everybody's got to kind of jump in on this game and be willing. There's a few games I like because one person can't, tank it. But in this game, you need all the players to jump in and play. And at the different play levels, 3, 4, and 5, I've enjoyed all those different levels. It is a different dynamic in the negotiating. And the more players, the less that one player can really mess it up. But for me, that's probably the negative that I take away from this game.
And I go into almost any negotiation social deduction game expecting that if I don't have a good group, if there's one person in the group weak, it's just not going to be as fun. For me, honestly, the weakest part of the game is the artwork. You like the art. I mean, you like the colors. Because the colors are easy to read. But there is something about it, and I think every game designer does this. When they make a game that's futuristic, they use the same font, and they use the same computery stuff, and it just bugs me. And it's not, for me, it's not easy to read, and it always looks more, like this game looks complicated, but it's a pretty simple game. It's just packaged in a way that almost feels complicated. And maybe that's an appeal for some people. I just don't like it. And even some of the people, and especially ship parts, they're just random things. I don't know if you can see it. It's just random stuff. Like, you just draw it. It feels like 4th grade art class, and they said, draw an airplane part, and that's what you got. That's just me. Other than that, the production on a whole,
yeah, we're playing with a mat, which is an add-on. We've got the metal ships, which is an add-on. The plastic ships are fine. They do have the metal coin.
Their coins are awesome.
Yeah,
in fact,
really
they
good.
almost beat out size coins.
Yeah, they're really nice. I like the artwork. I know exactly what Bodie's talking about with that, but I'm also glad it's not cartoony. You know, for me, and they do a good job with the green and the purple and the blue. It just at a look, you're able to tell what that card does well, and so it's kind of intuitive as you get going with it that they've done the color coordination really well in this game. Well, that's the basic review from our standpoint. Did you have anything else?
I have nothing else. We have to get down to would you buy, borrow, or is this a complete bust? And I seeing as we own this, I think it's a buy.
we did buy it.
Yeah.
I have bought a couple more since then. I've given one away. I have another one I know I'm going to end up giving away.
For me, the real test, though, is because he's my dad, and we live close together. If there's a game that he owns that I then need to own, I know it's a really good game. And this game is getting to that point where I'm like, I kind of need to own it myself. But it's just because I know I'll pull it out maybe at a time that he's not there. But it's a buy for sure.
Yeah, this is a definite buy for me. And I know they're not commercial like everywhere, but go find it on their website and pick it up. And I think it's about $65. But they do a good job of the game, and it's just a solid game that has some unique mechanics. A definite buy.
This has been our first review of any game on the Game Garage channel. We have no idea what we're going to do, if this works or not. You may see more of this.
We have fun, though.
Yeah, I had a good time. You get me talking about games, and I'll talk for a long time. So stick around, check out some of our other videos if you're interested in anything games. We're going to talk about game design. We talk about game reviews.
Game gadgets.
Game gadgets. We like, you'll notice along the way that we like to add things to our games. This is a built by him table with the LEDs. We get into that sort of thing. So if that's kind of if you're interested in that, check out some of our other videos.